Hi everyone, welcome to the Uncle Starts FIRE channel, where I record my FIRE, or financial independence retire early journey as a 45-year-old, and hopefully I can motivate the uncles and aunties to join the FIRE movement. Remember, no one is too old or too young for FIRE. Okay, let's get into today's video. Dollar cost averaging in the FIRE dividends portfolio. If you are a subscriber, or have recently browsed through the videos in this channel, you might have noticed that this uncle posts videos on what are the shares that I have invested in for the dividend portfolio during the previous month. As I mentioned, the purpose is to offer a picture of what this uncle does in my FIRE journey, and to provide an introduction and my views on these shares or REITs. You know uncle is long-winded one-ler, so to summarize my strategy, I invest for the dividend portfolio every month by choosing about 4 dividend shares, or REITs, which I think are most attractive, and do dollar cost averaging for them. I will try to rotate around the shares I own in my purchases. This means not buying the same shares consecutively over too many months, in order to maintain diversification in my portfolio. Share investments in April 2023. In April 2023, I did dollar cost averaging on 3 shares and REITs. One of my investment is not listed in Singapore, but is a very well-known brand, and it is likely you have some of its products in your homes, but more about that later. Okay, this uncle invested in number 1, City Development Limited, number 2, UOB Apat Green REIT ETF, and number 3, haha, I will only reveal this at the end of the video, so please wait for it. This uncle selected these 3 dividend shares to invest in April, as they were attractively priced, and more importantly, the dividend yields are relatively stable, making them perfect for my long-term dividend portfolio. City Development Limited. My first investment in April 2023 is City Development Limited, actually this is my last investment in April, because I just bought it in the last 2 days of April. Haha, I will explain why. I think City Development do not need any introduction. It is one of the largest property developer in Singapore, and the owner of the International Hospitality Group, Millennium and Copthorne Group. It also has a sizable business in asset management. Recall it is the proud sponsor of CDL Hospitality REIT. In total, City Development has total assets worth $2 billion. But City Development had a tough few years. Prior to the COVID crisis, City Development was criticized for not having a foothold in China, which was rapidly developing with property prices going only one way, up. So City Development invested in a major stake in a Chinese developer, Sincere Property Group. However, during the COVID crisis, coupled with Chinese government clamping down on the Chinese developers' borrowings, the financial troubles at Sincere Property Group looked like it is going to bring down the entire City Development company, so you can imagine how the share prices fell, like grapes. From a high of $11 in early 2020, the share price dropped as low as $6.34. There was drama in the boardroom as well. Some directors quitted. Some relatives of the ruling Kwek family complained. Basically everyone was scared, including this uncle. But in late 2021, City Development decided to bite the bullet, mean one-time painler, and sell off the entire stake in Sincere Property Group, so this rotten apple can no longer infect the rest of the company. Since then, share prices went above $8. This uncle sold off some shares bought near the bottom to take some profits, but retained some for dividends, which City Development really provided attractive dividends to shareholders. So what happened in the last week of April was that there was another property cooling measure by the government. Singapore is becoming the country of choice for many people around the world, especially where there is security risk. Example: I heard Taiwanese are one of the top countries buying properties in Singapore now, so property prices have been going up and up. I have been monitoring city development for a while, due to the price weaknesses because of recession fears. With the cooling measures, the prices dropped below $7, which was very attractive now. Especially there will be a 16-cent dividends coming in early May 2023. In addition, comparing the current price with the prices of around $6 plus when the entire city development was at risk of insolvency, the current uncertainty seemed manageable. Don't forget they are a major hospitality player. Tourism is recovering everywhere, which will feed through their hotels, and to us as shareholders. Woo woo. The dividend is not too high, around 3%, but at current prices, I think it is worthwhile for this uncle to buy some for the long term. UOB Apert Green REIT ETF. My friends laughed at me saying that how come this REIT crazy uncle did not buy any REITs this month. The reason is because I have bought quite a lot of REITs this year, and many of the attractive REITs have recovered somewhat. For example, Fraser's Centrepoint Trust, and the industrial ones, and I have a lot of hospitality REITs already. So when in doubt, go diversify. Hence this month, this uncle increased investment in the only REIT ETF in my portfolio, and it is the UOB Apert Green REIT ETF. You may ask, well uncle, didn't know you are so environmental friendly one. Well, I am very supportive of going green, and being environmentally friendly. I recycle my stuff quite a lot. Actually my wife is more green than Mila. If I don't do it, I will get scolding. Haha. Oops, I have digressed. But what I want to say is that among the few REIT ETFs in Singapore, I chose UOB Apert Green REIT ETF was not actually due to its green focus, but was because this ETF has the lowest exposure to Singapore, at around 15% only. Comparing with the other REIT ETFs, for instance, Lion Phillip S REIT ETF, and CSOP EGES REIT Leaders ETF are 100% in Singapore, and Nikko AM Straits Trading Asia X Japan REIT ETF is 73% Singapore. See what I mean? But given that many of our investment portfolios have a high concentration in Singapore REITs already, it is more beneficial to diversify into an ETF that is more focused in Australia, accounting for about 40% of the ETF, and Japan, accounting for about 35% of the ETF. Singapore is the third largest, at about 15% of the ETF. Not too big. In terms of sectors, it is also quite evenly spread out. It has about 30% in retail REITs, 30% in diversified REITs, 20% in office REITs and 10% in industrial REITs. What's also cool is that even with such diversification, the yield at current prices is close to 5%. In case you don't know, this uncle has a long-term yield target of 5% for my dividends portfolio, so this meets my yield criteria, and is diversified. How sweet. The final share I bought was a London-listed share, GSK. Is there anyone who have not heard of GSK? Maybe there are, but you will not be unfamiliar with the products they produce that helped us when we are sick. This uncle went round the house and found so many items produced by GSK. Just take a look. Haha, I am not a pharmacist but during and after getting COVID, and my kids getting COVID, we had to take Panadol for fever, and these medicines for our long COVID coughs and sore throat. Sad for us, but happy for GSK. I don't think this COVID virus, or even the common flu, is going away anytime soon. So there will continue to be a demand for GSK products. But to be clear, this GSK share has just split into two. The GSK share I bought is now focused on pharmaceutical business, on areas including cancer, vaccines, and respiratory diseases. The other part is focused on consumer healthcare, now called Haleon. Another reason why GSK is attractive to me is that they have projected the dividends they will pay in the next 2 years. So we have certainty on the dividend yield. This is what I like about UK shares. Other than their dividends being subject to zero withholding taxes. Based on their projections, the dividend yield is about 4%. Good enough for me as part of a diversified portfolio of dividend shares. That's a wrap. This has been my video on the dividend stocks that this uncle did dollar cost averaging on in April 2023. Just a reminder that it is this uncle's investment philosophy that both dividend shares, and also growth shares, have important roles to play in an investment portfolio, in order to be able to meet our objectives of retiring early, and retiring well. So although this video focused on dividend shares, we must not forget to invest in growth as well. I hope you like this video. Be sure to like, and subscribe to this channel, so that you will not miss future videos about my journey, and my portfolio. Bye. Introduction.